Today we're taking the stereo out of a 1995 Acura Legend. We're going to start with placing the key in the ignition, setting the parking brake, and shifting to mid-gear. We see the stereo in shop on many occasions for many different problems. We see the display doesn't work. We see erratic audio depending on and snapping and popping because this is the Bose system, and all depends on whether or not you have the L or the standard or the GS or the LS on which Bose system you have. On the L and standard, the radio will have an equalization circuit built into it and supply power to each of the speakers. On the LS and GS models, there is an amplifier located behind the rear seat. And the LS and GS, they had a recall on that stereo, or excuse me, that Bose amplifier, because they were, I think they called it a safety recall because there was chances of the amplifier catching fire right next to the gas tank. So before you think about repairing anything in this system, if you're having audio problems, snapping and popping, it's best to call a dealership to see if that recall has been taken care of. Anyways, we're going to start with removing one screw at the back of the pocket way down here on the right. This is a flathead. Sometimes the older the car gets, it's hard to find these screws located back here, but it is a short little screw with a flat head. And we've removed the one on the right. There's also one here on the left. We're going to remove this one as well. We're now going to take our pry bar and start at this piece that goes around the gear shift and pry up gently. We're going to work our way around both sides. You'll feel these clips release with pry pressure. We're going to get a handhold on it. Pry up the left side. These clips, like I say, all release with pry pressure. And now we have that up. We're going to remove the piece around the trim around the gear shift. Now that that's loose, we're going to pull the back of this panel up. There are several more clips across the top here, and we're going to pull this panel back from the dash. This will allow us to bring it back up and over the gear shift. You can disconnect it right here if it's in the way. There is a connector right here with a trigger on it, and you push the trigger down on the connector and the connector releases, and we'll set that to the side. Next, now that we have the center trim off, we're going to remove one screw way at the back here. This is the mounting screw that holds the stereo in place. And, we're going to remove this screw. This is usually a copper colored screw, but in this vehicle this one is black. On the right there is a second screw right here. There is a ground lug on this one, which needs to be connected when you put the stereo back in. And I'm going to remove this screw. Now this will allow us to grasp the stereo and slide it out of the dash. And once you get to the end, you got to lift it up a little to allow this bracket that's on the bottom to lift up out of the opening. Here's the ground lug that attaches to this screw right here. Don't forget to put that one back on when you get there. As for disconnecting, the main connector is right here on the top. There is a trigger right at the top. We're going to push that trigger down and wiggle the connector loose. And that removes that connector. In this particular model, we have the CD changer, so there is a cable for that here that has a trigger on it. We're going to push down and remove the DIN cable that goes to the CD changer. There are also two antennas on this vehicle, usually grasping the antenna cable itself and pulling releases it. And here's one antenna. And then the second antenna cable is a little bit smaller, so the antennas only fit specific spots. This goes for all the connectors on the back of the radio too. They are keyed, so they only fit one specific spot and go one way. We also have steering wheel controls on this radio, which is this connector way down here. We're going to push the trigger in and release that one. Now we have a clip that's holding this wire harness to the bracket here, and usually now this connector, if you take your needle nose pliers, you can usually squeeze the little tabs that flare out when they come through the opening. Squeeze it together and it pushes it back through. This is how you remove the stereo from out of a 1995 Acura Legend. Hope this video has been helpful. Please give us a call if you have any problems with this audio system. We can usually answer them right over the phone, give you a repair quote, and so on. Thank you for watching. Today we're taking the stereo out of a 1995 Acura Legend. There is the Acura Legend LS, GS, Standard, and